Welcome, horror fam, to another episode of HHN 365. My name is Jess, and as always, I am here with my co-host, Duff.
That was even more proper than the first time you did it.
I forget what I'm doing. I just go into autopilot now, you know?
You just answered a phone for like a doctor's office.
I used to work in a call center, so it's really hard not to just immediately go into like, hello, how are you?
Just spiel it out and that's it, get it out there.
Yeah, literally.
It's fine. It works.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed. If you guys want to follow us on social media, you can do so at HHN365. That's on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. We also have a TikTok that is at HHN365pod. We just passed 1,000 followers, guys. So thank you. Wow. If you followed, what? One of our videos got a dumb amount of views I never expected. Thank you if you're watching that. Thank you. And hey, if you want to be on the show, we have a voicemail. Call and leave us a voicemail. Yep. 407-906-4134. And on today's show, we will revive our Hollywood series with Jonathan from the Hauntline. What's up, Jonathan?
Hello. Thanks for having me back on, and thanks for being up so late over on the East Coast, y'all.
I mean, it's not bad yet. Not yet.
True.
We'll see how long this episode goes before.
We've had worse. We've had worse in the past.
Yeah, we have.
First, I got a monster. I'm ready to go. I'll wake up eventually.
And Jess, smooth intro. Great intro. Love it.
Thank you. Thank you. Do you want to plug yourself before we get into anything?
Sure, yeah. So you can find us on Twitter and Instagram at The Hauntline. You can also find us on the web, www.thehauntline.com. We are also on YouTube, youtube.com/The Hauntline. Basically, if you go to the website, you'll find links to all of our stuff, and it's a lot easier that way.
And then seriously, as far as haunts especially go, best quality videos out there. You put out the highest quality shit. So.
Thanks, man. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, okay. I guess that I have to talk now, right?
If you'd like to, sure. Go ahead.
I'm so used to you doing this. I'm still not.
I mean, I can start just popping.
Please, it's your turn.
Okay. Yeah,
Mike, come back. I miss you.
Please. Anyways, yeah, news and rumors. Not too much this week, but a couple things we could talk about. There's a fun one for the Orlando side, and that's on a UK third-party seller. They had a population to select the option for the Orlando frequent fear passes. No prices. If you clicked it, it actually didn't bring you to buy, but it has been put on the site, and typically sites will load that in. It depends on the site and their typical process, but not too long before it's time for that to actually release. So I don't even think we've hit the point where people start freaking out about will they or won't they come this year. So that's good.
No. Have you not seen the Facebook groups?
Oh, I don't count those. Those.
Okay.
No,
that's fair.
Those don't count. Everything else I was talking about. And no, I literally try not to look at those, by the way.
Oh, I try as well. And they're recommended to me now whenever I go onto Facebook, which is not often.
Well, that's rough. But I think because last year, people were like, all right, if last year was going to have frequent fear passes, they're definitely not trying to get rid of frequent fear passes.
Oh, God. No.
Because I don't know why. Every year it was always this huge, stressful, month or two where people are like, are we going to get them? Mm-hmm. Yes, we are. Relax. But anyway,
they're going to control capacity and not bring them. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Yeah.
But
no, you're fine. No.
Yeah, they're not going to bring them back. They're coming. And this happened with what was it? The Monsters announcement. They loaded it in the system and it showed up for a little bit in Hollywood.
Thanks, Hollywood.
So
one of the rare times that Hollywood spills the beans. That was pretty fun.
And it wasn't John Murdy's fault.
Yeah.
As far as we know, we don't know what else he does for Universal.
You think he does all? Yeah, okay.
He does it all.
But yeah, that's exciting.
Something. It's something. Not quite yet, though, guys. Not quite yet.
No.
And then also one thing for Hollywood, and that's we always talk about the progress of the facades and props and whatever it may be. Specifically, this one is fun because it's still only technically on the spec map, and we feel like we've kind of been confident in it, but there is a supposed scarecrow house. The facades look great. It's got the patio. It's got a truck. It just looks badass. It also now has, covered in plastic, but has a scarecrow.
An alleged scarecrow.
Yeah. Innocent until the garbage bag comes off.
Right.
But yeah.
It could be Jesus on the cross. I
mean, you're right.
Oh,
we aren't sure, but it really kind of looks like a scarecrow. So we're gonna go with that for now.
You said last week that the tone, like I'm sorry, the black phone, because it had child abductions and murders, was going to be, they have to attack it with cautious hands. But you think they put Jesus on the cross?
I mean, you never know.
I never know, but I think if they're worried about the one, they're definitely worried about the other.
One of the events is near the Bible Belt, and it is not Hollywood, so
Fair?
maybe they can touch it.
Fair.
Yeah, maybe they're trying to branch out and reach a broader audience. Who knows?
I can't.
All right, but that's literally all we had for news and rumors. So the main segment of today, of course, is going to be bringing back what we did last year, and that's a Hollywood series here with Jonathan. Kind of bring him on to be our expert. We enjoy the Hollywood event, and we try to keep up with news about it, but we still definitely are not experts. Orlando is our main territory. So we feel like every now and then we have to bring someone on who knows a lot about the event. Jonathan's our guy. So at this point, I think we're just going to kind of catch up on what has happened. They have dates, they have tickets, we have announcements, what's on the spec map, that kind of stuff. And first of all, let's start off with dates, right? When does this event run? We do have September 8th through October 31st. So as usual, starting the week after Orlando and both ending on Halloween. And this year, that is for 33 nights.
Not bad, man. I'm still waiting for the day that we get, the very first week of September, or Orlando style dates. But I think we're getting there. We're getting there. Or even I'd love to see the day when they start adding Wednesdays into the mix for our runs, because it's typically Thursday through Sunday. I think it's time to add that Wednesday, because honestly, it gets so busy. Last year in particular, I felt like it was busy every damn night. Even my strategies to beat the crowds most of the time kind of bit me in the butt. So fingers crossed that we get more nights like you guys out in Orlando.
It's got to be coming, because I literally just thought about this earlier today, where it wasn't that long ago, like literally just several years ago, where the event would start in Orlando is in the September 20 something, late September.
Wow.
And now we are almost pushing to August, just a few years later. So I think you'll get there very soon.
Fingers crossed.
I was shocked that Hollywood didn't offer Wednesdays, to be honest, when tickets dropped. I didn't know that. It just seemed normal to me. Sorry, that's my Orlando bias showing.
Do you think it could be something it's not the easy... I don't know. It's not as easily accessible as the Orlando parks are.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's true from a local perspective, but it feels like people typically will come from a bit of a further distance as a local than they would here in Orlando.
I don't know. I think if you're a Southern California local, if you live anywhere that's not in Los Angeles, or even if you live in Los Angeles, you know that getting around anywhere around here is going to be a mission. It's going to be a commitment. That's just kind of our life down here, is we know that all right, we're going to go to Universal Studios today. Cool. We'll leave an hour early, or okay, cool. We're going to Horror Nights. It's a Friday. They open up at 5:30. Cool. So we'll leave at 3. Great. You know what I mean? It's just life down here. I honestly think it has to do with, I don't know. I feel like there's been this mentality in Hollywood for years now that the event isn't quote unquote as popular as it is out or in Orlando. But I can tell you that with the way that the crowds have been increasing over the years, I think it is. I think it is as popular. Now, obviously, you guys out in Orlando, it's basically a religion. Horror Nights is out there for you guys. It's a different level. But I think there is a fandom out here in Hollywood that kind of equates that in a sense. And I do think that hopefully soon they'll realize that, hey, there is a huge audience out here. And I guarantee you, if Thursdays are busy, Wednesday's going to be busy too. So I hope they start staffing it.
Yeah. And one way I've always looked at that since I've started going and actually seen and experienced it myself is that Orlando definitely has the bigger diehard community. But I think if you're looking from a general public perspective of the fandom, it seems pretty similar to Orlando, to be honest.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
It's, the big haunt to go to in the area, really. I think at one point that was probably not them, and it probably was Knott's, but I feel like that's not the case anymore if you're just standard Joe Schmo, right?
Absolutely. And if you kind of look at our history out here in Orlando, I mean, it started with very little confidence, incredibly little confidence. And when the event came back and it fell under John Murdy and Chris Williams's domain, I mean, they were open maybe 8 nights out of the month,
Mm-hmm.
and it slowly increased from there. And I would like to say that 2019 was our biggest year because we did have a total of 10 mazes, which was, I'm sorry, houses. They're called houses now. 10 houses. We had never seen that before. That was a first. And I think that to me is an indicator that they're starting to realize that the fandom is here and the fandom is here to stay. So hopefully we get back up to that number soon. And I do feel like even between last year and this year, they're kind of heading in that direction again. So fingers crossed.
Yeah, and keep plussing that budget. So from what we're hearing this year, Hollywood's going to get a plussed up budget. So you apply that to when they're doing 10 houses again. I mean, come on, that'd be great.
Oh yeah, I mean, hell, we're already kind of seeing it with the construction in the park with the facades. So this is probably the strongest year we've ever had with facades. There's no giant big box posters or anything like they've had in the past. They're really going ham there. So I think they are starting to realize that, people really love the event out here.
Yep, definitely exciting to see. Hopefully they fully latch on and not just kind of cheaply take the money.
Agreed.
So next up we got tickets. So Hollywood, you guys already have your full slate available. Everything from single night, express, frequent fear, it's all there.
Yeah, buddy.
Let's just go through like the prices real quick. So single nights are going to range anywhere from $72 to $102. If you want to tack on express, that's $179 to $289. Hollywood, you do also have that unlimited express, $219 to $329. One of the best tickets I think out there, if you're someone visiting from out of town, Orlando, say, the after 2 ticket, so you can go into the park for the daily operating hours starting at 2. And then you get into HHN as well. That's $122 to $154. You can get the after 2 with express for $319 to $449. You have your standard frequent fear. It works quite a bit different than Orlando's, but you do get 27 nights. That'd be for $199. Do you want to try to explain how that system works? I think you probably do it better off the top of your head than me trying to read this stuff.
Sure. The frequent fear, you mean?
Yeah, the basic one where you get the 27 nights and how you pick your first night and that.
Yeah, totally. So the basic tier, because there's 2 tiers. There's 2 levels of frequent fear here. And I think you guys have a couple different ones out there, right? You guys
We
have
do.
like 4.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, the Hollywood version kind of condenses that to 2 very simple versions. Either you get the version where you don't go on Fridays or Saturdays, or you get the version where you go any day that you want all season long. I think this year is finally going to be the year where I go for the ultimate fear because my haunt season is going to be shortened a little bit. In September, I'm going to be a little bit busy. And then at the end of October, we're going out to Orlando. So I only have like 3 solid weeks of Halloween. So, if you are, diehard Halloween Horror Nights Hollywood and you want to come out as much as you can, I definitely recommend getting the Ultimate Fear because, again, you get Fridays and Saturdays on that pass. Otherwise, you can definitely get the regular Frequent Fear Pass. You will miss out on the weekends. But, I mean, Thursdays and Sundays are pretty solid anyways.
Awesome. And then I didn't mention it. The Ultimate Fear is $329, which... Not terrible for being able to go 33 nights.
No, it pays for itself pretty fast.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Do you guys not have frequent fear with express?
No, that's something else that I'm waiting on. I'm keeping my fingers crossed. I know it's going to be. Oh, I know. It's going to be expensive as hell, but would I do it? Yes.
It's so worth it. Last year was Duff and I's first year having it. And it was like, you feel like we're in Wayne's World.
It's
like,
a game changer. Yeah. It's a whole new world. The fact that you can go any night that you want and it just kind of be like, all right, let's go here. And then let's get some food. And then let's go watch a show. And then maybe we'll do that. And you don't really have to you don't have to be so strict on the timeline or on the strategy. Total game changer. And I hope that they give us that soon out here in Hollywood too. Because believe me, I would love it. And what sucks is that there are nights, especially after having experienced Orlando with the Frequent Fear plus Express, there's nights where I'm out here and, you know, the lines are 40 plus minutes, an hour, 2 hours. And I'm just like, yeah, I'm going to go home. Because I'm not going to pay an additional $180 to get express on top of what I've already paid for my freaking fear. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, no, for sure. That was me in 2019. I could not afford with Express. I worked at Disney. So I was waiting in lines, and there was just nights where I couldn't. So I would just sit in a scare zone and just then go home. That was it.
Yeah. I mean, I think last year before the event, I think I literally said I'm going to buy without Express because I think part of the fun of the event is, you know, hanging out in line and, you know, just chatting it up that way. And no, listen, that is cool. Like, that is a big part of the event, but having Express doesn't take away from that. You're still gonna be in line for a bit at points. Yeah, no, it was so worth the money. I think last year was like $510 or something. It's a lot of fucking money, but well worth it. For the event I wait for literally all year to be able to just walk in and know I can hit all 10 houses every night if I want to. Incredible. Because I was used to those nights where I'd show up, and some nights I just had to turn around and leave basically after doing a couple laps because everything was too long. So, well worth it. And hopefully you guys get in Hollywood soon.
Yeah, fingers crossed. That's another thing that I would love to see transition. Now, there's a lot, actually. There's a lot that Orlando does. I mean, you guys have been doing it now for, 31 years, so it's coming up on 31. There's a science, and, there's been a lot of experimenting done. When you really think about it, Hollywood is still in its infancy, especially in comparison to Orlando.
Oh, yeah.
So there's a lot that I would love for Hollywood to take from Orlando, and I think it would be incredibly successful out here. And yeah, definitely Frequent Fear with Express is one of them, because that would be an absolute game changer for anybody out here that really loves horror nights.
Actually, for the first episode of the series for the year, maybe we'll kind of end off the episode with certain things you think should be brought over and how they translate.
Sure.
We'll see where we're at with time when we get there, but I think that'd be good.
Right on.
But to continue with tickets, we also have the RIP tour. Jess and I will be happily partaking. Another thing did last year, and I was like, holy shit, this is so good. Expensive, good. This ranges from $319 to $449. It comes with a free buffet that you can continue to hit all night. Obviously, you have an RIP tour guide, just like in Orlando. They take you around not back door either. There's a separate RIP line. Get you through everything, right? But it only lasts, I think it's 4 hours, the actual tour. And after that, your RIP pass still works in the RIP queues, not the express. RIP, where you walk up, they stop the other queues and let you in. I never waited more than literally 10 seconds in the RIP queue.
Wow.
Damn.
Insane. So you can, like, if you're someone, especially going one night, me, I want to guarantee I hit every house multiple times. And this guarantees you'll have that opportunity 3-4 times if you want to, because you could lap it 4 times within like 10 minutes probably. If it's a shorter house, obviously, but you know what I mean.
I love that. I need to do it at least twice if I'm only there one night, if I can. If I can do it 3 times, even better. So
yeah, I mean, I will be down to do it with you 3 times.
Yes.
You know it.
I know. We're gonna have fun.
But yeah, definitely looking forward to that. Let's see. I guess that's kind of it for tickets. I mean, the prices are pretty in line with Orlando's. I think if you kind of take the average of like the value what they are, they're maybe a little higher, but not much. Because I think like looking at what the Frequent Fears give you and what some of the expresses hit, like it's a little higher than Orlando is, but it's nothing crazy. It's pretty similar at the end of the day. All right, so announcements, the fun part, right? We got 3 of those so far.
Oh, yeah.
They've all been bi-coastal, so same thing as we got here in Orlando, sort of. This first one, we'll get into that. And that first announcement was Universal Monsters Legends Collide. Like we discussed earlier, it did get leaked by Hollywood a few days early.
Oops.
Oh, well, it's bound to happen. Actually, I think all 3 of these got leaked at some point before they were announced.
Yeah.
All right, nice.
We're on a roll here, folks.
Keep it going.
We're consistent, if anything.
But yeah, it got leaked, then it got announced. And this was fun because I think the announcement video was great. We had the
Yes.
snacker, which we've seen a continuation of. I thought it was really clever, the video itself, and it's a pretty exciting announcement because, like, no matter what the subject is, Universal Monsters is always going to kind of get that little extra hype, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, especially now. I feel like there's been I don't know if it's an awakening, but I think Universal finally realized, like, oh, people really like our monsters, and they like them at Horror Nights. So I'm just glad that they're really leaning into it now. I mean, hell, the Universal monsters are basically responsible for what Universal Studios is today.
Mm-hmm.
They started out with their monster movies, and they were a huge hit. So yeah, I love that they're including them. They're going out of their way to include them. And yeah, this first announcement trailer was so solid. I mean, it put such a huge smile on my face, from the way that it was shot to the design of the posters to the fact that they, you know, in Jaws fashion, they kept the monsters hidden. All you saw was the arms.
Mm-hmm.
Really, really well thought out trailer. I love it.
Oh, sorry. I just fully paused there. I was waiting on Jess. But
Sorry, I was drinking and I was hoping you were going to talk. We are killing it, guys. But no, everything you just said, Jonathan, I agree with. I mean, I love that it was shot in Orlando.
Yeah.
Sorry again. But no, I love it. And the poster designs were really, like, striking to me. Like in the actual trailer, not the design that came out. I still like that design, but and then just the arms, I love it so much. I'm so excited. Just and the stories, we got to go to the panel at Spooky Empire, and they gave us
nice.
They gave us our story, like more in depth on our story and everything, and kind of how it ties into then Hollywood's. So I'm so excited to see, like, Orlando is part 1 and then Hollywood is part 2.
Mm-hmm.
In the continuation.
And it's cool. You know, I'm going back to kind of what we were talking about earlier. I'm starting to see more and more this synergy between both coasts.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that now 2 years in a row we've had a shared story for the houses, and now, I mean, hell, even Hollywood is calling them houses, right? Like, that is an Orlando thing. So yeah, I'm seeing this little synergy, this little relationship that's building. And honestly, I love to see it because, yeah, you know, Hollywood is great, but again, Orlando has this, you know, aged wisdom behind it, and you know, they've gone and done a lot that Hollywood has not yet really done. So if we can take things that Orlando has learned throughout the years and apply them to Hollywood, I think it would just elevate the event so that truly every year people will want to visit both coasts. Much like how now I am an Orlando addict and I must go every season. I want that for you guys too, where you're like, oh, we have to go to Hollywood. We have to go check it out. You know what I mean?
And I think this concept of you have your part 1 in Orlando and there's a part 2 if you want to follow up and enjoy this house in Hollywood. A great way to do that, to get people really enticed to make that trip.
Oh, yeah.
I would love to see this become like an annual thing where there's one story that both coasts, and we saw that with Bride. I mean, different stories taking the same, you know, property. But that's more normal that we get for both coasts. I would love to see it be this part 1 and 2, or even just like, I don't know, sisters instead of, you know, like, I don't know, twins instead of sisters. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but
that's cool. I like that.
Yeah. I'm excited to kind of see what happens, and then we're gonna get to see ours and then go out there and see y'all's.
Yeah.
Oh, and the artwork, you mentioned it. I think some of the best artwork I've seen for a house, like, period. I think that logo is phenomenal. It's because, you know, for Dracula and the Wolfman, it's the same art we saw in the monsters' houses previously. But the way it ties in, and the mummy design and then the hieroglyphics kind of as their border, it just looks so good. The colors, it's just one of the best, especially on a shirt. It looks so good on a shirt. One of the best
got the
I've seen it put
ornament
out.
The other day.
Oh,
I'm
did
not
you?
even gonna lie.
Ooh.
I got it finally.
It's the only ornament that really looks kind of good too.
That's why I got
the others
it.
Didn't work.
That's exactly. I went to go. I'm not gonna lie. I told you I got the Blumhouse shirt, and the ornament was over there on an end cap, and I was like, "Come on, babies, let's go." I just grabbed the monsters, and I was like, "You deserve." I have a black Christmas tree, so like it's all Halloween themed to begin with. I was like, the monsters deserve a spot.
Had to be there.
They got me. They're not going to get me with any other ornaments. I'm sorry.
Do you?
I don't know that. If
There's a lot of houses coming out still. We'll
I
see.
know.
They drop them for originals.
Oh, stop it.
Mhm.
That
Damn
would be
it.
cool.
You know I'm a slut for originals.
You're gonna get a little boo ornament. You can tell me you wouldn't buy that?
I would. My whole bachelorette party was little boobies.
Exactly.
Come on. All right, let's get back into Hollywood.
I mean, it could be in Hollywood too. You know,
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
they have the Orange Bird in Disneyland on merch. Why not Little Boo in HHN Hollywood?
What if Lil Boo's in the Scarecrow house?
That would be pretty cool.
Man, that'd be a nice Easter egg.
Yeah.
Just
Oh, yeah.
Truck him
Holy
over to
shit.
Hollywood.
And he's right like in front of the door. He's on the porch. He's the pumpkin on the porch.
Oh,
No,
my God.
What if he's driving the truck? Then that's not it. Or he's the head of the Scarecrow.
we
He's
gotta
just
tweet
concerned.
at them and let them know that this needs to happen.
What if Lil Boo just moves every night? They just pick him up and put him somewhere else. Oh my God. If I need Lil Boo in Hollywood, guys, please.
John Murdy. I know you listen, of course, right?
Yeah.
Clearly.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe we can have a versus style house where it's Little Boo versus the Log Bunny. We'll do some bi-coastal mascots here.
How about it? Jack versus Hollywood Harry.
Hey, now that would be interesting. Now
I
that
would
would
love
be
that.
pretty interesting.
Stuff that sounds cool in theory, but probably wouldn't be that great. But it's all right.
Yeah.
We can dream. That's fine.
Yeah, exactly.
It's for us.
So yeah, I mean, it sounds like you're both pretty excited. I was going to ask like how we feeling about it in general. It sounds like the consensus here is that there's a lot of excitement for Universal Monsters Legends Collide in Hollywood.
Oh yeah. Universal Monsters every year, please, for here on into the future, please.
Especially the way you're doing it now. Like,
yes,
keep this like universe going.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yes.
And then just a little reminder on what it is. I'll read their blurb they have on the site for it. You're about to get caught in the middle of an epic battle between the Wolfman, Dracula, and the Mummy together for the first time ever. And I'll read the longer one too. Why not? If you thought one Universal monster was scary, how about 3? Better summon your Scream Squad, because you're about to get caught in the middle of an epic battle between the Wolfman, Dracula, and the Mummy together for the first time forever. Their mission: to find the amulet that will break their curse, and they'll destroy anyone who gets in their way.
Dun dun dun.
Yeah, I mean the story. I think if you listen to this show, Jess and I were not very excited just based off the whole cramming the verses thing over and over. But since we started to hear what the story is, and then it's spooky when we heard it even deeper, we're like, yeah, this is fucking cool, actually.
Oh yeah, obsessed. The panel at Spooky really like flipped my whole, not opinion because I haven't seen it yet, and I try not to form an opinion yet until I experience it. But my excitement grew. It's definitely probably going to be like my top 3 on my hype list.
Here's hoping that Murdy does the same thing at Midsummer Scream, which is this month now. So yeah, that'd be great.
I think it will be. Yeah, I have a feeling it's going to be more details on Legends Collide. So
Please.
fingers crossed. Yeah,
Please.
I'm going to be so excited to see both versions of this house. On
You going down to Midsummer Scream?
I don't think I'm gonna make
No,
it. Unfortunately, yeah, I'm working during those dates, and right now, like it's kind of taking priority. But
Yep.
I will have, I will most likely have people there covering it. So
There you
we'll
go.
see.
That's what really matters. Get the coverage.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so let's move on to the second announcement we had, which is going to be Halloween. And I don't know if surprising is the word. I'll say it anyways. Somewhat surprisingly, it's going to be the 78 Classic. That's it. That's what they're saying. Interesting. I mean, I'm not, again, said it before. Obviously, we've talked about these announcements. I'm not upset that it's the 78. I just think they probably would have tried to go other routes before coming back to it. But here we are.
Yeah, and I know that's kind of hasn't happened a lot in Orlando for you guys. Like Halloween itself hasn't been, used a lot in Orlando, but we've seen a lot of Michael out here in Hollywood. So it was interesting that they're going back to the original because they've done a couple of different versions of that house already. they've kind of used the original a couple of different times already. This will probably be either the third or the fourth time that they've done it in Hollywood. So I was really hoping that they would go the direction of the more modern movies. Would have loved to have seen, the most recent Halloween. Was it 2019, 2018, 2018?
Mhm.
I would have loved to have seen that fleshed out as a house, but I think I have mixed feelings about Halloween as a property at Horror Nights in general. I kind of can't help but roll my eyes a little bit every time. However, anytime I hear that damn theme song play at the event, it hypes me up like nothing else.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
It's just
definitely.
it's quintessential Halloween, and that's not haha, it's called Halloween, but like that theme plays at Spirit Halloween when you walk in all the time. Like you
Right.
just it's for the season.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a movie that I watch every Halloween season, so
Mm-hmm.
I guess I can't be too mad that it's coming. But hopefully I'm still keeping my fingers crossed that it was very evident that we were gonna potentially get that Halloween 3 maze, Season of the Witch, in what would have been Halloween Horror Nights 2020, but we lost it, and I really, really hope that it comes back one day.
Yeah, I mean, I think less than a month ago someone asked about it, and Murdy's like, I mean, yeah, I want it. It's not a
Obviously.
secret.
We built the Silver Shamrock.
Also, at Spooky Empire, that Mike Aiello directly answered with, like, what house do you want to bring, and why is it Halloween 3 Season of the Witch? He's like, ha ha ha, but you're right.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay, all right.
it's what he calls one of their white whales, and I'm sure Murdy feels the same. So, hopefully,
I mean, it was almost there. It was. I
mean,
it
It was literally there. It was there.
Oh, I'm so sad.
Whoever's responsible for dropping the ball on that, I just want to talk.
I still want to talk to the person responsible for Beetlejuice on the West Coast, but that's last year's news.
I mean, judging by when it
give.
happened, probably the same person.
Yeah,
probably.
If I see you in the streets this year, it's on.
So I do think it's funny that you said that, like, you've had this specific film represented 3 or 4 times, but like you're not mad about it. If Orlando had a house based off the same film 3 or 4 times, sound stages would be set on fire, cars would be flipped in the parking garages, twisted taters would be flying through the air used as weapons at team members.
Oh, absolutely. They would have to take HHN away from the locals in Orlando for a couple years to punish us for what we would do to that park if they repeated it 3 or 4 times.
Because think about it. This is the second time they're ever doing this film, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the first one is highly regarded as one of the best IP, one of the best houses ever.
Only the second time?
Second time they've ever done the original. And
for the original, we've had 4, we've had 2, like, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
It was 8 years ago. Everyone agrees it was an amazing house, and look how upset people still are. It's just not something people are okay with here at all.
Wild, man. Y'all are a different breed, man. It's
spoiled.
Jinx. And I'm spoiled. I mean,
we know it.
I'm not as upset as a lot of other people, but at the same time, I'm also like, I mean, like, I get the whole angle of, like, not everyone's seen it. There's newer fans, and like, I'm happy they get to see it. I'm happy for people who do get to see it. Well, it's true. But I feel like a lot. That's who's mainly excited, and I get that, and I'm happy for you. That doesn't mean it's going to be personally exciting for me. And at the end of the day, my opinions are going to be based off what I want to see. Right?
I get that, but I mean, the one thing we've heard, I don't know if John Murdy's given much information, but Orlando has said that this is a completely new house. There's no redone anything in our Halloween this year. So I don't know if that's a difference from Hollywood, because I know Exorcist last year was plussed, but not different, right?
Not at all. It was the same exact
house. It wasn't plussed at all. So
No, it was the same exact house.
Yeah, Orlando would have set fire to the house before it even opened. They wouldn't have allowed that to open.
Hell, last year it was Pandora's Box was exactly the same. The Exorcist was exactly the same. I have a feeling this year that probably Killer Clowns is going to be exactly the same. Halloween, though, is the X factor. because there's elements of it that look like the 2015 house, but there's also elements of it that kind of look like the 2009 house. Murdy hasn't really said much about what version of this house is gonna, it's gonna be based on. So yeah, I'm kind of curious to see how it plays out. I hope it's kind of like a combination of two, if not just kind of a completely, new reworking of it. But given the Hollywood track record, it's going to be probably quite similar to one of the previous versions of it.
Well, unfortunately, I do remember he did as he's been doing, he does his Q&As on Twitter, and he was asked about the differences, and he said, to quote him, the changes would only be a wee bit. I don't remember
There you go.
regarding which former maze, which year it was, but so it sounds like it's going to be a slightly plus or altered version of one of them.
Interesting.
Or he's just messing with us, and we're all in for a surprise, right?
Sure, yeah. Like honestly, I'm always walking into a lot of these repeats as with it in mind that like it's probably going to be exactly the same. But hey, last year Halloween 4 was a very pleasant surprise because they did end up changing quite a bit of it. I know a lot of it was out of sheer necessity because they had the Halloween 3 structure pretty much already built. So they had to retrofit the maze to the Halloween 4 version. But we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Hoping for the best. And by
Indeed.
best, I mean different.
Yes.
For your sake. Again, this is one of those situations where I flip the script and go, I never saw your Halloween. So...
I'm excited for you, Duff.
Thanks, I appreciate it. You're so kind.
I am.
But yeah, I think that was there anything else anyone really want to discuss about it? I think this is something that's been talked about for a while, and also we've talked about it before when the property has been to the event.
Yeah. Wait, one question: has Hollywood ever done the facade like we're seeing them build right now for this house?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the 2009 version was pretty similar to it,
Gotcha.
and I think the 2015 was also pretty similar to it. So even that is kind of a callback to a previous design.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. So, well, I can't wait to experience it for my first time. But I'm so sorry to you locals.
All good. We're used to it. It's fine.
Yeah.
Maybe one day things will change. Again, budget. Bump up your budget.
Right.
People are coming. It's popular. Help out the locals in Hollywood, please.
And I keep saying it, John. Obviously you're listening right now. You don't have to take the brunt of all this, my friend. There are other people who are very willing to write treatments and do some research and help you out. So expand the team a little bit. And get some fresh faces and some fresh blood on this event, quite literally. And we'll go from there.
I'm willing to commute from Florida since you commute from Ireland.
There you go. Well,
if you're looking.
I'm willing to commit from Orange County, which isn't even that far. But
I'm also in Orange County.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
John, if you're listening.
Let's hop into that real quick because I feel like that's something that kind of gets glossed over a lot. Obviously, we know that Murdy is kind of the face of the creative team, and he's regarded as like the father of the Hollywood HHN. But like he literally like does everything, and by everything I mean like he writes the treatments, and he fully hands on and in control of like the entire every aspect of that event.
Which I appreciate, but it's also a lot. You know what I mean? It's a lot. It's a lot for anybody to take on. So, I'm going to go and use the example of Not Scary Farm. They have a lot of different creatives that are behind their event every year. And, sometimes things are hits, sometimes things are misses, but it's fresh. You know what I mean? It's different every couple of years. Although we do repeat mazes out in Not Scary Farm a lot. It's nice to have different takes on mazes and ideas out there. So I think it would really benefit Hollywood to do kind of the same thing. And, and just so that one person doesn't have to carry the whole damn thing. It's not really necessary.
And like, also like if you're going to have one person do it, they're obviously going to have a specific style.
Right.
They'll alter it and, change it as much as they can to be different from other houses. But at the end of the day, you're going to kind of see it shine through, right? Like, I think it's pretty well known, like in Orlando, like which person on the creative team, like, was at the helm for which house. And like, you're like, oh, that makes sense. That's their style, right? Like, everyone has their own kind of style. And as much as they want to move on from it, like, sometimes it's still going to come through, it's just who they are. And if you're going to have one person do it all, that means all your stuff is going to kind of have a similar feel, which can be good, but usually you're going to want more variety.
Right, and it pays off because, I never thought I'd ever go through a damn house that was based, like, on a Yeti. You know what I mean? Like, that was really cool. Or something like Graveyard Games. Like, it's cool to have different people kind of focusing on their, one or two creations so that they can really flesh them out. And Orlando is the prime example of a team that is has the ability to focus on specific things, specific stories, and it really, really pays off. The variety is incredible in the adventures you go on in Orlando.
Yeah, and there's no reason Hollywood can't be the same, to be honest. So
exactly, yeah,
just more money, more team.
Right.
I think those things are probably related though too. So it is what it is.
We'll get there.
Yeah, hopefully. I hope so. So we do have one last announcement, and that is, again, the Horrors of Blumhouse.
This one surprised me, guys. It really surprised me. How did you guys? I mean, I don't think I caught the episode. Just real quick, how do you guys feel about that?
I mean, very, very different, I guess, on surprise level for Hollywood and Orlando, because it was not speculated for Hollywood, and then there it was, even though it had been speculated for Orlando for a bit.
Right.
So it turned out to be what was not expected to be a bi-coastal announcement was the bi-coastal announcement.
Right.
So I guess there was a bit of surprise that it came. But there's also that level where it's not, because it's Blumhouse. The relationship, obviously, very tight, because they're also part of Universal in some way, shape, or form. You got the Black Phone, which hadn't come out yet at the time. It was very close to it, but was already being panned by critics as the next great horror film, and people thought it would be like a great fit. So I think there's a lot of reasons why it also makes a lot of sense and wasn't too surprising.
Yeah, and Candyman was speculated for Hollywood in that spot where Blumhouse is going to go, and from the start, I knew there was something off about Candyman. It's not something, especially since it was going to be based off of the most recent iteration of the movie. I knew that it was something that both Horror Nights and Universal probably didn't want to touch, just because of the subject matter of the film, which is really great, by the way. And the way that it gets its message across, I really, really enjoyed it. And I thought it was, very necessary for today's day and age. But that being said, yeah, when I saw it speculated, I was like, nah, that's not going to be it.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting. I don't know. I guess I wanted it because I love Candyman. Like, I love the original. I still haven't seen the new one.
Jess.
I'm really bad at seeing movies. We know this. This is
what?
Literally my thing. I literally am so bad at seeing
it. But you actually love Candyman. So
I do. I
film,
genuinely love. Yeah. But the issue is,
of that.
my husband was traumatized. The original traumatized him, so he didn't want to see it with me, and I didn't see it.
I get it.
That's all it is. Which I don't blame him. It's traumatizing. He saw it far too young as well. But I was like, oh yeah, that'll be fun. But I didn't even think about, the subject matter and them not touching it. So Blumhouse, I was like, oh, Hollywood's getting it too? Wait, what? Like, that came out of nowhere. I knew we were getting it. Like, it was so speculated that it just felt real, I guess. I don't know. But Hollywood, I was like, well, yeah, they've had it. But for it not to have The Purge is what shocked me. For you guys, because it always.
That's a good point. That's a very good point.
It always has. Well, Duff pointed that out, I think, last week. When was that the announcement? I don't remember. But Duff was like, yeah, they've always had some form of purge. And I was like, oh, yeah, I guess they have. So that's more shocking to me than, I guess, you guys having Blumhouse.
Sure, yeah. Very interesting. I will say this much, too. I'm glad that they're just kind of focusing on the two houses. I'm sorry, on the two properties, Freaky and the Black Phone. Because I believe it was the second iteration of the Horrors of Blumhouse out here in Hollywood they made up a third film, and that was interesting. It was like an original creation kind of based off of the opening of the Blumhouse logo.
Mm.
And that kind of fell flat. So I'm glad that they're not trying to squeeze something else in. And I'm really excited. I will say this much. I'm really excited to see their take on Freaky. And I haven't seen the Black Phone yet, but I've heard a lot of good things about it. It's on the list. I'm going to watch it in the next couple of weeks here. So I'm very excited to see what both coasts are going to do with both properties. Specifically, though, I'm excited to see what Hollywood does with it.
Yeah, especially because Murdy said that the facade is not the theater this year.
Right. And plus that Waterworld location is, it's interesting. It's an interesting layout.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt like in the past, mazes in that spot have felt pretty long, like how they twist and turn you in that spot in very interesting ways. So it'll be cool to see what they do with that footprint. I'm pretty excited about it.
And since we brought up the Candyman part, John Morty, during his Q&A, as always, likes to debunk stuff. He was directly asked, like, "Oh, why'd you replace Candyman?" He said, "Candyman was never coming."
Right.
Sure. Like, you can enjoy your spec maps, but not everything is going to be spot on. Sorry to break it to you.
Right. Yeah. I kind of catch myself doing that too, where I'm like, I have to take a second and be like, wait, this is a speculation map at the end of the day. It's not law. So yeah, nothing is replacing something else. It's just like, they're gathering their facts, those speculation wizards over at Horror Nights, HN Nightmares. And, sometimes things get lost in translation, or, they're just taking a guess. And so that's what I think happened there, specifically with Candyman. It's just like, oh, maybe they heard an inkling of it. But yeah, it's very important to always remember that it doesn't mean that was actually going to happen, folks. Just keep that in mind.
No, the way I... sorry.
Go ahead.
No, I'll be fast. The way I tell it to my husband, because he's new to like the whole HHN fandom thing, and he just hears me mumble, is we're wrestling fans, so we always say the card is subject to change until it's announced.
I like it.
If you're a wrestling fan, it can always change until the last second. So
we've all had our hearts broken, getting our hopes up and getting attached to a property that was never coming to the event. So just be careful. Be careful. It can be painful.
Stranger Things.
Yikes.
I hate those Facebook groups are still going strong that Stranger Things is coming. And that it's not the weekend, because that's the least anticipated house ever, according to Facebook.
Yeah, I'm not excited, so it's definitely not coming. Right? That's how it works.
Yep.
We do that every week. Let's try not to this week.
Yeah, it's me.
Yeah, fair. So that's everything we have announced so far. So let's go over what else is on that spec map that we're telling you not to get too invested in, although do enjoy.
But now let's listen to us get invested in it.
So this was actually released before the announcement. So it has Candyman on it, which we now know is not coming. It has Legends Collide, obviously, and then also Halloween. So the other properties that remain on here that we haven't heard any announcement for are The Evil Dead, La Llorona, Scarecrow, The Weeknd, Killer Clowns from Outer Space, and of course the Terror Tram, which is currently listed under Hollywood Harry.
Yeah, and it's pretty interesting. Speaking of not getting your hopes up or getting too invested in the map, I think given the evidence in the park, the only two X factors on this map for me are still The Weeknd and The Evil Dead. Because we have no way of actually physically confirming those two as, these are being built right now, right? Because for the most part, I mean, the Scarecrow original, we can pretty much call that one confirmed. Yeah. Halloween, we can pretty much call that one confirmed. Even Killer Clowns, which is a new location this year, which I'm pretty excited about. That one I can pretty confidently say it's coming back. And also La Llorona, like it's so painfully obvious. So yeah, the only two on the map where I'm like, I don't know, like you said, Jess, the card is subject to change. I think the two that could still change are The Evil Dead and The Weeknd, which are also, interestingly enough, both bi-coastal properties.
Well, the thing is also one of those, there's a lot of evidence. The Weekend, of course. Um,
Right. Right.
the other one that is kind of up in the air. At least the Orlando side is rumored that not coming.
Interesting.
So
Yeah.
I very well could see at least one swap on this, I'd say.
God, I'm so curious, man. I honestly do love that both of these are kind of hidden, that we can't really see anything.
Mm-hmm.
Even if that Soundstage 29 door is open, it's so hard to see in there. Somebody somehow last year clocked that it was the Exorcist facade. Big props to them for catching that. But yeah, I love the mystery of these two properties. And I would love to see, personally, I would love to see The Weeknd make an appearance at the event. But yeah, again, it's the X Factor. Those two are the X Factor. And the Evil Dead, I remember going through that house in 2009. And, assuming it's the same layout, that house blew me away. And it was based on the new movie that had come out recently.
Yep.
So if they do bring that back, I'm going to be pretty excited because, it was pretty mind-blowing. And it's also perfect because it would be in a pseudo soundstage now that the Walking Dead attraction is gone. It would be cool to see what they do in that space. But yeah, man, I'm so curious if that's going to come to fruition or not. Either of those, really.
Yeah, I think that's the most exciting thing about the spec maps for me is like not what's on there and right, but what's on there that's wrong and what's
Right.
replacing it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like what's the mystery here? And I feel like on both coasts we still have stuff that it's going to be up in the air. So still exciting times, even though now, in July we're getting to the point where we usually start to get a spec map that's batting 100 or batting 1,000. I didn't even want to say batting, but you know what I mean.
Right. No, absolutely. Yeah.
Yes.
Batting 100 is terrible, and so don't do that. Horror Night Nightmares. But also on this spec map, you do have 3 listed scare zones. They're all unknown, but it has 3, so anticipating 3 locations there. And I believe they're the same exact locations they had last year, right, Jonathan?
Yeah, I'm assuming so. They can't really do much down on the lower lot. That one's kind of like, in the past it has been a pseudo. It's kind of like the zombie, or I'm sorry, the chainsaw hordes you guys have out in Orlando, where they kind of populate the Simpsons area, but they also kind of not. You know what I mean? It's like official but unofficial. The lower lot is very much like that for us, where I believe in 2019 they had people down there 1 or 2 nights, like a couple of nights, but it never really stuck. So I think all in all, we would definitely see 2 scare zones right at the entrance, and then maybe 1 in the Parisian area, which that's kind of interesting too. I'm wondering if it's going to connect at all to La Llorona, if it's going to be like a continuation of the maze like it has been in the past, or if they're going to take it a completely different direction. But my assumption would be it would be connected to La Llorona.
Yeah, I loved last year's implementation of that.
Yeah.
What was it called? Silver Scream Queens, right?
Yes. Yeah.
I think definitely the best scare zone I've seen at Hollywood, and I know you were a huge fan too.
Oh yeah, that one truly, like, the energy was so high every night. Yeah, it was great. So I could definitely see them doing that with La Llorona as well. And in fact, in 2021, we actually went out to Hallow Scream San Diego, which it was in its first year, and they had a zone which was La Llorona themed as well. Funny enough. And they did a pretty damn good job with it. It was creepy. They had like La Llorona, like multiple. I don't know what the plural name for them would be, but they had multiple La Lloronas kind of running around, and they had like strollers with really creepy babies in them. It was super foggy, super dark. And they had, babies crying and children cry. It was truly unsettling.
Intense. Oh my god.
Very, very unsettling. So, it'll be interesting to see what Universal does with that.
Okay. Well, I guess Universal obviously have done it themselves as well, but based off last year, has a high level of at least unsettling atmospheres to match.
Definitely.
I think sticking to scare zones for one more second, if I remember correctly, one of the things we talked about in our like wrap up for last year's event was that the two scare zones near the front of the park don't work great because they are different, but they feel like one because there's like no separation, and that
Right.
we thought like it would be best of either one, try to separate them more, create more of a divisive theme between the two, and a little more of a gap, or make it a mega zone.
Yeah, and I think I like the mega zone idea a little bit more, because then it sets you up from the jump, right? To have like that constantly evolving atmosphere of having scare actors just running around, roaming. I would in fact love for them to do something like Orlando did last year with the giant truss tower. They have the space to do that in kind of like in the entrance rotunda, if you will, where they have that statue of the director and the camera person and the sound person. I could definitely see them doing something like that. But yeah, I agree. I think that first zone should be one mega zone, and they could do some pretty interesting things with that.
Yeah, I mean, if you combine the two, that's a decent amount of space.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So, yeah, I'm all about that. It looks like, according to this, it won't happen, but we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
And of course, there is on the spec map the return of the beloved Jabberwockies.
Yes.
Which, if you remember, did not hate last year, personally.
And you said that, and so I'm gonna go out of my way this year to check out their show, and I've skipped it.
No, I don't want to get blamed if it goes south. So don't say that.
No. Listen, I've always said that they are incredible performers. I love what they do. I just don't love that it's part of Horror Nights. You know what I mean? And that it has nothing to do with horror or Horror Nights at all.
It's funny because they haven't, Orlando has really captured that dance show at Horror Nights thing and done it really well for quite a while now. And they're just kind of struggling, they're still trying to hold on with Jabberwockies to that comedy aspect while implementing the dancing, and it's just not landing fully.
No.
I think
it's a great crowd eater, and people go out and see it. Yep. That theater's full every damn time that I check it out. But I wish we got something like Nightmare Fuel, which I think was a fantastic show. I mean, phenomenal on so many different levels. And the fandom around it really surprised me. The first showing that we went to, I mean, just the way that people were behind the performers and behind the show itself. I was like, see, Hollywood needs something like this. Hell, Not Scary Farm needs something like that. Mm-hmm. It was a phenomenal show.
Listen, if there's anything an Orlando fandom is going to do, it's going to latch onto a show and make it their entire personality for 2 months. Yeah. Bill and Ted, AOV, Nightmare Fuel, it doesn't matter. There's always going to be some massive fandom that goes to as many shows as they can every night. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm not trashing that at all. I've done that for Bill and Ted previously, especially 27, their final year, but that is always going to be the case here for whatever the show is. People are going to latch on and become like hardcore fans for a couple months.
We're just really passionate out here,
You are. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
We love it with our whole heart.
I think we're also all neurodiverse, like every single one of us in some shape or form.
We all willingly, not all of us, most of us willingly moved to Orlando. That's the thing. Myself included.
Hey, listen, I love it here.
Yeah?
Yeah, I do.
I really do.
So what do you say? All right. Yeah, that's it for the spec map, though. So, I mean, I don't know how many changes are coming. I don't think it's too much, but there are still a few things in the air. Obviously, we still want to find out what the scare zones are as well.
Can we talk about that set being built on the lot?
Oh yeah,
because I really want to get your opinion on this, Jonathan. Like, what do you think's going to happen with this Nope set?
I think it's going to be a part of the daytime tour. I don't think it's being built specifically for Horror Nights. However, the one thing that I keep going back and forth between this, guys, honestly, like I can't land on a specific answer, because if it was built for the summer, I mean, we're already like in summer. You know what I mean? Like, especially since it's July 4th weekend coming up. Well, it is July 4th weekend. Sorry. I feel like if it was for the daytime tour, it would have been open already. But I also don't see them going way out of their way building that whole thing just for Horror Nights. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. It's confusing to me. And also, I don't really see them, although they've kind of done it in the past, I don't really see them making the entire Terror Tram Nope themed. Right. Because story-wise, it doesn't really work. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's very clearly the Bates Motel, the Bates house. It's very clearly, I mean, I guess you can make an argument that the War of the Worlds set could be aliens with, I don't know what happens in the movie yet, so I'm not very sure. But yeah, I'm still confused about that. I do think it's going to be a promotional thing for when the movie opens. I believe it opens July 22nd. So there's still some time for them to maybe open it within the next couple of weeks as a promotional tie-in and keep it open for, through Horror Nights as a promotional tie-in for the movie. But we'll see, man. We'll see. I don't think it's going to be the entire Terror Tram tour. Some people have theorized that it's going to become part of the Terror Tram where you walk through it. I don't think it's that either, because there's very clearly a tram path built down the middle of it. So, but it is incredibly interesting that they're doing that. And I just can't wait for them to finally officially announce it.
And I don't know if you guys saw it, to tie into that they actually, it's called Jupiter's Claim, I believe, that town.
There's a website.
It has a website. It's supposed to be obviously not a real one, but like a Wild West kind of amusement park, I guess you could say. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like an amusement park's website, and like movies like Jurassic World and a lot of other movies have done things where they make websites that are supposed to seem real and legit for that property, and this is one of those, and I think it's kind of really cool. And unfortunately, I don't think we're going to get to experience what this says in this set, but I think this kind of pitching of to a higher level of Jupiter's Claim is kind of also bodes more toward being just like a daytime operational thing.
Right.
Yeah. I would just love to see, because they're building this whole set. Use it for daytime promotional, but why not use it for the Terror Tram? You have it.
I think they will. I think I think the initial goal is to open it up for the general public during the day for the Terror Tram. And, during the summer, they do extend the hours of the Terror Tram. So they have nighttime tours. Mm-hmm. So I think that's when it's really going to shine, because you can really use show lighting and different visual effects at night. And I have a strong feeling that after the tram picks us up, it's going to take us through that, because I think they even did that. I could be wrong, but I have a vague memory of them doing that with fucking Supercharged. One year during Horror Nights, they took us through that after the Terror Tram experience was over.
I'd be so mad.
Right? You ruined my night.
Get me off of this thing. God, who do you think you are?
I do think that's going to be a part of the experience. You're not going to walk through it, but I do think they're going to pick you up at the usual tram pickup zone, because it's literally just around the corner from me. Mm-hmm. So I think that's going to be the grand finale to it. But again, story-wise, doesn't make a lot of sense. But whatever, we'll see what happens. So the Terror Tram has always kind of been a weird wild card, because at the end of the day, right, even though it was themed to The Purge last year, you're still walking through the Bates Motel.
Yeah.
It's still very clearly the Bates Motel.
What if they did this is obviously this is not going to happen. I don't even think it's that good of an idea, but Jordan Peele taking you through the history of the horror films. Here's Psycho, here's the Bates Motel. Now here's my new movie. Nope.
That would
Enjoy.
Be pretty fun. That would be pretty fun.
That's how we tie it in.
Whatever it's gonna be a stretch. That's for sure.
Yeah, I just hope they throw some scare actors on the sets or something.
Agreed.
Mm-hmm. Or there's something we're really missing about this film because we haven't seen it yet, and it can support a whole Terror Tram.
Yeah, apparently.
Right. Yeah. So
Probably
we'll
not
see.
the case, but
July 22nd. I think once I watch the movie, we'll have a little bit more of a clearer direction. And who knows? They may announce the new experience on the Terror Tram, or I'm sorry, on the tour.
Yeah,
pretty soon here. So.
It's got to be coming soon, right? Probably.
Yeah.
By the time you're listening to this, it's probably going to happen because that's just how this works. So
that's the one. That's true. That's the one.
Yep.
This will be what it is.
So any other just kind of thoughts about the spec map as a whole? I think that pretty much covers it, right?
Yeah, no, that's pretty much it. Again, I think it's for the most part pretty spot on. I'm excited to see what the 2 wild cards are going to be. I'm really hoping we actually get the weekend at this point, mostly just to piss off everyone who's been moaning about it, groaning about it. But also, I think it would be a great fit. And yeah, if the Evil Dead comes back, it would be cool if it's the 2009 version. But who knows? And honestly, I'm just excited at the idea of them actually using the former Walking Dead attractions footprint for a maze, because it's perfect for it. Absolutely perfect for it.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how that is as a not Walking Dead experience.
Glad I missed it.
Yeah, you should be. Actually, it's like one of those things. Nico always likes to say, I like to collect bad experiences. So one day down the line, I'll be able to say I experienced it and you won't.
There you go.
You can hold that over my head for as long as you'd like, Duff. I will never care.
I won't. I'll never put it that way again.
I'm so glad. Or I'm going to make you drink a candy corn old fashioned at Hollow Scream. I'm going to hold that over your head. And I'm not helping you this time.
All right.
Man.
Oh, no. I got to get out of here. All right. So, yeah, as I brought up before, I think something that would be great to do to close out this episode. You mentioned, Jonathan, there's quite a few things from Orlando you'd like to see be implemented on your coast. Like, what do you got? What do you think? Why? What are they? And how would they actually work there?
Sure. So first of all, the food and the drinks. You guys have so much of it out in Orlando that I think it's very doable out here in Hollywood to kind of do the same thing, where you set up little booths that are themed to whatever the properties are for the year. I want to say there's space for it. There's definitely space for it. For them to do more food booths, more food and drink that are both themed to the properties. So that's the very first one. Mm-hmm. And I think people would absolutely love it because they've tried it in the past. In 2019, they had a couple of snacks that were themed to Ghostbusters, and that line was always long. There was always people there. They do it down in the lower lot. Last year, it was for Texas Chainsaw. I thought that was fun, really cool. I think they should do more of that and really lean into it because people love fun food and drink. And you could even do it in the existing. They have a Mexican food restaurant. We don't need Mexican food. That's like, why is that at Horror Nights? You know what I mean? Like that's a Mexican food place. It's always open during the day, so they could easily transition those spots into fun food and drink spots.
And I think you're talking about expanding like to more diverse options, right?
Right. Outside of what's available during the day.
I think it's obviously I fully agree with that too. But I think from my experiences there, also just having more locations would be huge because the lines for your food and beverages are insane.
Well, because first of all, they close a lot of the daytime locations, so that's already kind of like a missed opportunity there. It creates longer lines at the locations that are open. And then like halfway through the run last year, they got rid of the 3 broomsticks where they made it like dessert only, which is, again, mind-boggling to me because that restaurant is huge. They have indoor seating, outdoor seating. Why not keep that open all throughout the night and serve regular food there so it could eat people up so that not everybody's at damn Krusty Burger. You know what I mean?
My God, you guys have that problem too where everyone's at fast food boulevard?
Yes.
Jesus.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that gets packed every single time. Or they're down at the lower lot and the line for Panda Express is basically a line to a maze. You know what I mean?
I remember last year I wanted to try, I think it was kind of like a Day of the Dead, like kind of food area they had, right? Is that what it was? and I was like, oh, I kind of want to like try something. I stood in line for about 5 minutes and realized I had like at least 45 minutes left, and went and double
Yeah.
dipped the RIP buffet instead because
Hey.
I wanted to try some of the HHN foods, but like it was insanity. And every time I've done that previously too, it wasn't the first time I've tried to hop in line or looked at the lines, and I just never can because it's always. And this was near the end of the night. Like there was like maybe
Jeez.
90 minutes left,
Oh, wow.
and people were waiting like almost an hour for food. It had to
Yeah,
have been.
yeah. That spot in particular, like first of all, the food was actually really good. So I'm bummed that you weren't able to try it, and I'm sure other people had the same problem. The only reason why I was able to try it finally is because we were there on a night just at like the perfect time where that line happened to be slow. Even then, though, they moved kind of slow to get us our food.
Mhm.
So it was good. But then also, and you just jogged my memory. My partner Ariana always brings this up, and it's so true. In Orlando, your guys' alcoholic beverages are pre-mixed and they're
Mhm.
ready to go. For whatever reason, in Hollywood, they want to mix your drinks right then and there with a bartender. And
Oh.
that makes the lines so damn long. I kid you not. I waited 45 minutes for a cocktail, one drink,
Yeah.
and it was ridiculous because it was a really good drink. But I'm like, you know what? You could have batched this, and you could have had it ready for us. Just pour it in the damn cup. Next, you know what I mean? I
It's
don't know.
it's funny, Jess. We just had an episode literally about this, and one of
Right.
us brought up that like we don't want pre-mixed drinks. We'd rather
Yeah.
have like. But then we went. You'd have to like at least double the staffing, at
Yes.
Oh, at
least to make
least.
that work. Because if you
Yeah.
keep like a normal staff, it's gonna what happened to you is gonna take forever. So as much as we kind of don't like the pre-mixed cocktails, um, I'd rather just take my premix cocktail in
Yeah.
5 minutes rather than wait 40 minutes for one that was made in front of me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. So that's the first one. I think more diverse food and drink options that are not available during the day, and just more options in general, because you bring up an excellent point, Duff, that lines get impacted. The second thing I'd love to see brought over, and I mentioned it earlier, was so I'm not going to get too into it, but the Frequent Fear Plus Express, I think, is a phenomenal option for fans of the event, because then you get the best of both worlds. Am I going to pay a lot of money? Sure. But guess what? I'm going to have a damn good time every night that I go to Horror Nights. And it brings up the chances that I'm going to be there more often, because I know that if I go there on a Friday or a Saturday, I'm not going to have a great time without Express. You know what I mean? I have to get there super early. I have to kind of do what you guys call stay and scream. We kind of have that, but it's not like super official. That's the only way to do it, to like get in and get through the mazes in a halfway decent amount of time. But without it, it makes it really, really hard to have a good time on a day that's not like a Sunday or a Thursday. But even then, it was busy. It was super busy.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, another thing that comes to mind for sure. I just slipped my mind. What was I going to say? Oh yes, the tribute store. The tribute store. I love your guys. The fact that Orlando does a Horror Nights tribute store every year, where it's super decked out, super themed to the event of the year. And I don't know, y'all. I have a feeling we may get something like that this year, just because one of the stores out in the City Walk has been closed down for a while now. It could be Super Nintendo World related, but the fact that we have merch released in Hollywood that's Horror Nights merch that has been released way before the event, that has never really happened. This is like the first year where they've released merch for Horror Nights outside of the actual season.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I kind of get a feeling that they may turn I think it's called Studio Central, something like that, in the City Walk into a tribute store. I would love to see that. Absolutely love to see that.
Yeah, that'd be great if that happened. I think that is one of the things that always is kind of missing just from the vibe of Horror Nights.
Yeah.
It was Horror Nights here always had a store, but when it became the tribute store and they started to amp it up, it's just become such a necessity for the event here, and I think do that to Hollywood too. One, people are going to spend more money.
Right.
You make a cool ass store that people want to visit, they're going to go buy stuff there.
Absolutely.
And then two, like any experience that can be themed up and promote the event is not a bad thing.
No, absolutely. So yeah, and then finally, my final thing, I would love to see even more original mazes out here in Hollywood.
Mhm.
And with that, I kind of tie in also increasing the maze count, or I'm sorry, the house count. Jesus, we've 2019 was the first time that we had 10 houses. I mean, 9 technically with the Walking Dead attraction, which is no more. So there's definitely an opportunity to have 10 houses. I'd love to see that every year because there is certainly enough people out at the event that would fill up those 10 houses pretty well. I think it would distribute the people a little bit better. I think it would increase, customer satisfaction to have more options. And it would kind of make the flow of the park a little bit better. So I know we're very limited in Hollywood with the space that we have, but every year more and more they're finding new locations for houses. And I think if they just found 2 more, maybe in the lower lot again, I don't know if we'll ever get that back. But if they brought back the lower lot, that would be the prime location to give us 10 mazes. But I think increasing the count and then also increasing the originals, it can be done. And I think the fans would really, really enjoy it.
And bringing back the lower lot, you know what that means, Jess.
Oh, the Toxxxxic tunnel. I can't do that. The Toxxxxic. How many X's? 12 X's?
I think we were up to 4 X's. I think it was
Jesus.
4.
Again, one of the things my fault for missing it. I had how many opportunities? Dang it. Yeah, I just want to walk down there. That's all it is. I know it was a really far walk, and it felt like disconnected. I've never been. Didn't people say it felt disconnected or something? Yeah.
Much. I'm not gonna lie.
So I don't want the Toxxxxic tunnel. So, but I would love to see 10 houses. That's how many we have, like consistently. Right. So that's huge. And then more money, more people, bigger capacity. It all equals to a higher budget for you guys, which is better. More money. Mm-hmm. Money doesn't make a maze. You can make a great maze with a limited budget, but a higher budget, you're gonna get quality most of the time.
Right. And I go back to customer satisfaction. If you give them more options, if you give them more of a fleshed out experience, they're gonna walk out of it happier every time because you get your money's worth. And again, Hollywood is kind of like a small park, especially in comparison to Orlando, but it can be done. And I definitely feel, fingers crossed, like they're heading in that direction. So we'll see what happens in the following years.
And especially originals. Like I said before, I think I've always been surprised and impressed with how much I enjoyed the originals at Hollywood that I've experienced. So
nice.
The more the merrier.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, yeah, I agreed with every single one of those. So, I mean, nothing too out of line there. Nothing I wouldn't expect you to say. I think there's things that most people on the Hollywood side also agree with, to be fair. I was looking for what else we got. We don't got anything else.
Yeah, I can't think of anything else either.
I can't wait to visit Hollywood this year.
Oh, I'm so excited to hear
for the first
your
time.
Experience on it. Yeah, we're excited to have you, Jess. We're excited to have you.
I can't wait. I really I'm genuinely excited. When Duff was like, well, I'm going, I was like, I want to go. And he's like, well, we could just cover it. And I was like, okay, let's go. I want to go. So here we are.
You guys are coming together, and also doing the RIP tour.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I love it. I can't wait to chat about it with you guys. I'm so excited.
I'm also going to get to go to Knott's for the first time.
Hey, nice. Oh. Very nice.
I've only ever been to Disneyland out there, so.
Okay. Well, yeah. Let me tell you, Not Scary Farm, top notch.
I'm very excited. Yeah. I've been waiting to experience Dark Ride.
Oh,
for so long. Dark rides have always been my favorite theme park attraction. So a haunt based on my favorite type of ride is just let's go. I need to be there.
You're coming at a pretty awesome era too, Jess, for Not Scary Farm, because most of the mazes are done by a really awesome designer. So Good
I'm so
choice.
excited.
Good choice.
Oh.
I'm excited to hear what you think of it.
Oh, I will give you an earful. So.
And I can only imagine whatever's replacing Paranormal Inc. will be very top notch.
Oh, it better be. It better be. Paranormal Inc. is like number 1 on my list, man. So it's got huge shoes to fill.
Mm-hmm. I think they're aware of that.
Yeah,
I would hope. I would really hope so.
Oh, I'm so excited.
But this is just going to be the first of several times over the course of this year, season, whatever you want to call it. I guess we're not really at season yet. That you'll hear Jonathan on the show. He's kind of like our Hollywood guy. So we're going to continue the series like we did last year. Probably, another few announcements down, or once we have everything in line, and then get to the in event, and then review, and all that fun stuff. So definitely not the last time we'll hear from you here, Jonathan.
and I'm excited. I had a blast last year. I'm sure we'll have more to talk about after Midsummer Scream. And yeah, thanks for having me on every time. It's a pleasure. And, Jess, this is a great time with you now on the podcast. I loved it.
Oh, thank you. I had a great time.
Are you saying that she's better than Mike?
Yo, whoa. Hey,
no, but I killed Nico. So that's really who I'm better than.
This is true.
I can look past that, R.I.P. Nico, but
Sorry, I'm the producer now.
No, you're a great addition to the team, Jess.
Oh, thank you.
I was very excited when it was officially announced.
Oh, thank you. Oh, I'm blushing.
And then, Jonathan, did you want to just plug where people can find you one more time in case they zoned out earlier in the episode?
Absolutely. www.thehauntline.com. That has links to our Instagram, our Twitter, our podcast, which I got to get cracking on. I've got some fun stuff down the line, but I'll get cracking on it soon. Our YouTube has links to everything. So be sure to follow us. And we've got some fun stuff down the line. Lots of haunt history, and then I'm also going to be doing a couple of comparison videos where we visit both coasts of Horror Nights and we dissect the houses. And I don't want to say we rank them, but we'll talk about them.
I can't wait to hear the rankings. Yeah. But yeah, hey, I'll piggyback off that. You can also find us all over social media: Twitter, Instagram, YouTube at HHN365, also on TikTok at HHN365pod. Go give that a follow. Jess works really hard on it. I think she says she doesn't work very hard on it, but it's harder than I work. So if you want to join the show, you can leave us a voicemail at 407-906-4134. And again, thank you, Jonathan, for joining us this week. Thanks, Jess, for murdering Nico and becoming our producer and having us use Zencaster and have good quality stuff. And that's it for this week, and we will see you next week. We'll also see you in the streets.